just can't tell it all.
I can't tell it all. Just can't tell it all. I can't tell it all.
About your goodness
Just can't tell it all.
and your mercy
I can't tell it all.
towards me.
Just can't tell.
Hello. Welcome to the KPP Kick Push Pull Transformational Life podcast. And I am your lovely host, creator, and CEO, Summer D. Richardson. Listen, I want to tell you guys, I am so excited. And I feel it's such a privilege for the person that I have today, the guest that I have today. She is one of my very best friends. She is one of my tribe members, a part of my sisterhood. And she is here today to talk about how she took purpose, conviction, and passion and merged them all together to create this wonderful business called The Diversity Place. Kiana Phillips, who is the founder of the Diversity Place, which is right here in St. Louis. And yes, you heard me, located right here in St. Louis, Missouri. She has her bachelor's in management of organizational development and behavior, her PHR and her SHRM, which are all human resources certifications. She also has over 15 years in the human resources industry. Okay, that is a lot of years. What she found out is there was a lack of resources that were available for and to diverse candidates. So she created a platform that would connect the companies as well as the qualified diverse members of the community. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Kiana Phillips.
Thank you so much. First, let me say,
Okay.
congratulations.
Oh.
I am so excited to be here. I know that this is a long time coming.
Yes.
Thank you so much for pressing forward. The world, watch out, because you have a gift. And I'm excited that you're able to share this gift with the world now. So again, congratulations. And I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yes, I am too.
Yes.
Thank you for that, friend. So like I said, this is one of my dearest friends here. And like her, I am also very, very, very excited. When I tell you anything that we need to know that is human resources related, we are calling Kiana on the phone. I'm talking about how to create cover letters, how to write resumes, how to deal with conflict resolution issues, whether it's from the executives or the directors, or whether it's from your coworkers, or whether it's a supervisor and an employee that are having issues. I mean, Kiana is our go-to person. And when I tell you, she does it with such ease and grace. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And when I say ease and grace, I'm serious about ease and grace. Most people that know Kiana, her volume doesn't go beyond a 3, okay? Like, rarely ever. The only time her volume may go beyond a 3 and it may hit a 5 is when we're all hanging out and having a good time. But other than that, her volume, she just has this steadiness about her personality and about how she handles the business and the industry of human resources, which makes us proud. I mean, it is wonderful to watch and see her in action, okay? Now, don't get it mixed up. Just because that volume is only hitting a 3, it doesn't mean that there isn't a power behind that. There's a power behind it, but trust and know it's with grace and ease. So, sis, along with that, you're congratulating me. I want to congratulate you. I am so proud of you. I mean, it's something, listen, guys. It's something about, people talk about legacy all the time, right? You often hear it. It's a trendy word, probably the last 5 or 6 years. Even when people talk about relationships, you hear men talk about, oh, I want a woman that, represents legacy and can build legacy. And us ladies, we're always talking about, we want somebody that can help build legacy. But the biggest thing about building legacy is that often we don't see people from the ground, okay, from the start. We often see people once they have arrived, once they are millionaires, or they're sitting in that C-suite, or they've got those, $100 contracts, or they are big, huge social influencers, or, people are calling their name and praising their name. You don't see when, my God, at the very beginning, when all you have is a dream and an idea and you know nothing else. All you have is, okay, God, I heard the purpose. I heard the call. I don't really have a blueprint, but I trust you. So, friend, I want to say, on behalf of your sisters, your family, and your community, thank you for answering the call.
Thank
To
you
purpose.
so much.
Thank you for what you're doing. Your company is going to create legacy for so many people and so many families. Individuals will now be able to connect with organizations that they would have never, ever, ever had an opportunity to connect with because of your yes. So thank you, Kiana, for representing legacy for your daughter, for your family, for your community. Thank you for being an entrepreneur that said yes. And so instead of waiting to give you your flowers, I'm giving you your flowers now.
Oh.
Literally, I'm about to give you flowers.
No!
Yes, I am. On camera. I absolutely am. So, friend, here are your flowers.
You're about to make me cry.
No, here you go. Absolutely.
Good.
Listen,
Look at these.
let me say something to everybody.
Lord.
If COVID-19 has not taught us anything else in the world, appreciate people now. Don't wait till later. So many of us have lost so many things: friends, jobs, family, loved ones, relationships. If you love that person, tell them now and show them. If you appreciate that person, tell them now and show them. Don't wait till you're looking over their body and they're gone. Don't live with regrets. Be kind to one another. Take care of each other's hearts. So on behalf of the community and everybody else, we're going to love on you now and appreciate you now, friend. I love you.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
I'm not mess up my makeup.
I can't cry. Okay, my stylist is going to have a fit.
Okay.
Shout out to Chanel, my stylist. I'm not going to cry it right now. I might cry later, you all, but I'm not going to cry right now.
That was beautiful. Thank you
No,
so much,
seriously.
Summer.
Yeah, seriously. I really mean that. Seriously, audience, please appreciate the people that you love now. Even apologize. If you need to say I'm sorry, apologize. Apologize now to people. Don't wait. Don't wait. You just never know when you may not see that person ever again. Okay? So be encouraged, everybody. And this is at the beginning. Be encouraged.
Thank you.
All right.
you.
Now we can dry the tears up
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
and begin. So, Kiana,
Yes.
tell us about your career journey. You know, I would equate human resources to the, if we talk about the 5 love languages, right? And we think of acts of service. And to me, human resources is a part of acts of service. You're providing a service. You're helping individuals and companies and organizations understand what their job is and the importance of their job, and maybe helping entrepreneurs figure out step 1 and what I can do, how to get prepared for an interview. Those are acts of service. So if you could take us through your career journey, like when you were a child, did you think, okay, I like helping people, I want to get involved? How was college? Did you know what you want to major in, or was there some big epiphany? Walk us through that career journey.
Okay. So my when I first entered college, my major was engineering. I don't even know if you know that.
Oh, wow.
So
I don't know
my
if I knew that.
major was actually engineering.
Okay.
Now, here, a little backstory. I knew I wanted to be an engineer, but I didn't really know exactly what all that entailed, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So back then, when we were in school, of course, we had counselors and things of that nature. But if you were interested in pursuing a certain type of profession, I don't think we had access to as much information as the kids do now.
Yes.
Like, for instance, now when you're in high school and you're pursuing the profession of engineering, they have engineering classes. You know, they talk through, exactly what that includes. And then also, I didn't know personally any engineers. Okay. So again, access to people, right? So no one in my family was an engineer. I didn't know anyone who was an engineer, but I knew it was something about that profession I wanted to do. So going into college, that was my initial major. After starting classes, I realized, okay, this probably isn't what I want to do. So I switched over to marketing. There were quite a few changes that took place prior to me pursuing human resources.
Okay.
So marketing was my major. But even within marketing, as I was taking courses, one of the classes I took related to human resources.
Okay.
So it was just a class that I needed to take, and it touched on human resources. Once I learned about what all that includes, I'm like, you know what? I enjoy learning about it. I mean, because that's the thing. When you're pursuing a career, you have to make sure it's something that you want to do and that you like, you know?
Now, wait a minute.
Yes.
Say that again.
When you're pursuing a profession, you want to make sure that it's something that you like and that you enjoy learning about.
Okay. Very important.
Otherwise, it become a task, you know. Learning about a particular skill or learning about a particular subject that don't really interest you, well, it can become mundane really quickly. So you have to find something that you're passionate about, right? So I knew it was something that triggered me when I was learning about labor relations and I was learning about just human resources in general. I said, let me look into this a little bit more. So I went to my the counselor that was at the college campus, and at that time, you know, we went on and switched things around so that I could pursue human resources, and so that's how it ended up switching over to that. Now, during this entire time, I was being told it's very difficult to get into human resources.
Wow.
And it is.
Okay.
It is. But I had a vision. I had a plan. Right? I knew I wanted to get into a company where I could eventually transition over to human resources. And so that's key as well. If you know that you envision yourself in a particular type of position, sometimes when you go into the career space, you may not necessarily start off there. You know, you may have to make a plan to perhaps get hired into a company that have all these different areas where you can shadow the other area that you're interested in, learn about it, and eventually ease your way over. So let me talk a little bit more about that. So when I graduated with a double major, marketing and human resources. So I went, started my first profession, and I was a retirement specialist. So I was more so dealing with finances, okay?
Okay.
But it was a company that... a big local company. I'm not sure if I can say the name or not, but it was a...
You may not want to, but...
Okay. It was a large local company. I knew that it had the area that I was interested in. Actually, every company have a human resources department, right?
Yes.
So I knew that if I'm able to get in and at least start off my career, figure out a way to get into this other area, get into human resources. And I shadowed. I had an opportunity to shadow. I interviewed when the position became available. I didn't get it. Okay.
Okay. So you didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
The first time around.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And you did all those things. You shadowed, you had a vision, you had a plan, but the first time around, you didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
I didn't get it. The position came available again. I applied, interviewed, didn't get it.
So that's twice now.
Twice.
That's twice. You shadowed. First off, you pursued the career, you got the degree, you worked in the field, you did everything you were supposed to do. Went for the interview 2 times.
2 times.
And still didn't get it.
Okay. I ended up reaching out to the department's leader again to ask if I could perhaps shadow again and learn more.
Okay.
So, because I was wanting to prepare for when the position become available again. I was going to apply again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So resilience.
Yes. Yeah.
Dedication. Focus.
When you have a vision, you want to keep toward it. You have your end goal in mind. You want to continue down that path. And so the position ended up becoming available again. And I remember being in the interview with the leaders, and they said, "This is your 3rd time interviewing for the position." I said, "Yes, it is. I'm very, very interested in working within this area." And they said, "I love your determination.
Wow.
I love your determination. We're going to give you a chance." And so I was hired that 3rd time. Okay.
Wow.
I was hired over into that role. The supervisor remembered me reaching out and wanting to shadow. So it was the passion.
Yes.
Passion a lot of times can trump experience. If you're passionate about a particular area, and they see that, I mean, because passion basically it demonstrates that you're going to go all in. You're going to give it your best. This is obviously something you're very interested in. So you're going to give it your all. And so that's what they saw. So they gave me a chance. A lot of times when you're starting off your career, I mean, all it takes is someone believing in you and giving you a chance.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you're not going to have the experience going in.
No.
Right? So I went into that role. Loved it. Had an amazing leader. She was my very first mentor. I'm still in contact with her now.
We can shout her out.
Johnetta. Johnetta
Love Johnetta.
Carver was my very first leader that really mentored me. She saw something in me, right?
Yes.
She saw something that, I mean, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, and I'm sure that that's something that was displayed, but she saw something else in me and pushed me.
Yes.
Okay? So it's nothing like having a manager that push you forward. You hear a lot of times a manager can make you or break you. And a lot of times when people leave companies, they're leaving the manager and not necessarily the company.
Right. That leadership.
Managers, leaders, they can either assist you to go this way or it can back you down to this way. So it's very important when you're interviewing for a position, they're interviewing you, yes, for the position, but you need to also interview them and make sure that the leadership style, and that could be a question to ask, make sure that the leadership style jive with what you know works best for you. Okay. But anyway, I
hope you all are taking these nuggets in, okay? She's already dropping tons of nuggets for us. Please make sure you're jotting this information down. Share this with everybody else. Go ahead, sis.
It's the journey.
Yes.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
But going into that role, I learned a lot. Eventually, it was time for me to leave the role. I ended up being within that particular position for, I want to say, about 6 years or so.
Yeah.
And then I moved to a different company. But anyway, so moving into that different company, I was a recruiter for that company that I worked for. Went with another company as a recruiter, but then also, again, enjoying it. I love recruiting because I love getting to know people, understanding their background and seeing how it fit with the roles that we're recruiting for. It's kind of like a puzzle in a sense.
Okay.
And so in that role, doing well, ended up getting my HR certifications.
Yes.
And then I had another leader, Miss Valerie Armstrong.
Yes, Miss Armstrong. These wonderful mentors and leaders. It's important, folks.
Yeah, she was a leader who also saw something in me. And I think that is so important. When you're hiring leaders, it's important that they understand the importance of leadership, of true leadership. What is true leadership? Yeah, managers, anyone can manage, right? You're managing the day-to-day,
Yes.
so on and so forth. But being a true leader is someone who individually look at each one of their direct reports, each one of their employees, understanding their interests, taking an interest in their development, understanding where they want to go with their career.
That part.
Yes.
Taking an interest in their development
Yeah.
and where they want to go in a career.
Yes.
Not competing,
Exactly.
not out for their job,
Yes.
but
Right.
taking a real interest in that individual and their career and the development of that.
Yes. And wanting to see them grow
Yes.
and develop, no matter what type of role that is that they want to grow into, supporting that, and being sincere about it. It's not just a check mark, check the box type of thing, but you're actually taking an interest in each individual person. And also identifying some things that person may not necessarily see in themselves. So that's another one. So Valerie, she did see something within me, which she ended up encouraging me to move over into like a HR business partner type of role. Is this something you're interested in? And just kind of had the conversation. I didn't think about, that, I just mainly kind of focused on recruiting. But maybe
And so this
is
HR
something.
business partner position is like the next level up, right? You're moving up the ladder. Okay.
Yes, it's
Okay.
a more it's more encompassing of not just recruiting, but you're talking about employee relations, you're talking about labor management, you're talking about development and performance and just things like that. You're taking on a role that includes much more than just recruiting.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I ended up transitioning into that role. Now, in my experience in human resources, of course, diversity has always been important for me personally. And it's something that has been discussed. We hear the word diversity, right?
Yes, it's another trendy word.
Trendy word.
My
And it
goodness.
should not be.
No.
It's something that has been, when a company has diversity, it's a proven fact that they bring in more revenue. It's a proven fact that they are more creative. All of the above. All the statistics are out there. It's necessary. But when recruiting, I noticed that there was a lack of resources out there that allowed you to connect with diverse candidates. Diverse qualified candidates are out there.
Yes, absolutely.
When I hear a company say we can't find them, that's no. I'm calling you bluff. Okay? No,
Right.
They're out there. You just have to make sure that you find the resources to help you connect with those particular candidates. But I did notice that there was a lack of resources that was being placed out front, where you can reach out and be connected with certain candidates depending upon the type of skill set that you're looking for. Hence the reason why I moved forward with with looking into the diversity place. I know we'll talk more about that here in a minute, but that is pretty much my journey from beginning to end to where I am now.
Wow. That was wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Again, encouraging everybody. Stay focused. Have a vision and a plan. Don't get discouraged if you've applied and tried for that same position. Was it 3 times?
3 times.
3 times, you all. 3 times. To the point where the leadership recognized her in the interview, the 3rd interview. Didn't you already interview for this before? I sure did, and I'm here again. Determination, vision and plan. If you know that is what you're supposed to be doing, go after it. Go after it. Go after it. Go after it. And let nothing stop you.
Yeah, don't let rejection deter you.
Ooh, say it again.
Don't let rejection deter you.
Yeah.
Every successful person I know have been rejected at least one time. And
Okay.
one time is an understatement. They've
Right.
been rejected multiple times.
Yes.
If you allow that to deter you, then maybe that's not necessarily the area that you should be going into. I don't know. But I really think that if you are passionate about a certain area and know that that's where you want to go, that's where you want to be, if you get rejected, brush it off your shoulders, keep learning about what they do. Network, like I mentioned, I reached out to that department and I asked them if I could come in and shadow.
Yes. Important.
I went in and shadowed so that they can also remember my face, remember my name, and they know that I'm interested. And not once after I got rejected, I wasn't bitter. I kind of took it as a lesson. Okay, well, maybe I need to learn more about this. They ask these type of questions. Well, maybe I need to be more prepared in answering this way and figuring out how to compose my answers for when I go and interview again, because I knew I was going to interview again. So again, just not allowing that to deter you and just keep pressing forward.
That is good. And not becoming bitter.
Not becoming bitter.
Rejection. Not allowing that rejection to make you bitter. But you know what? Here's an opportunity for me to learn. Here's an opportunity for me to say, you know what? Let me take the initiative and actually try to meet with these individuals where I'm trying to get to. Can I shadow you? Can I speak with you? Can I have lunch or coffee with you to discuss what I could have done better? What information that I don't know? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need an additional certification? Hey, here is an opportunity. If you're saying this is where you're supposed to be, then you have to go after it.
And even with that, Summer, it's all in the approach. If I was bitter and if I would have reached out to that department and said, well, I mean, why wasn't I selected for this? Or had a certain air about me to where they could tell that I was bitter about the decision.
Yeah.
They would have remembered that. And I probably wouldn't have gotten another interview. But again, I reached out, I shadowed again, stayed positive. Because again, attitude, when you talk about hiring, attitude, being passionate, and attitude can trump skill and experience anytime.
Say that again.
Being passionate and having a good attitude can trump skill and experience anytime. You can teach a skill. Skills can be learned.
Yes.
Although when you look at a job description, there's going to be skills set there. Certainly sometimes the bare minimum will need to be met in order to get the call. So in order to get that call, of course, your resume needs to show that you do have some type of experience or be able to relate it somehow. But you may not necessarily have as much experience as the next person that's interviewing. What can set you apart? Being passionate, having a good attitude.
Wow.
Because again, the skill set that you may have lacked that the other person had or possessed, again, the standpoint from the leadership perspective, that could be taught. She have the ability to learn. It could be taught.
Wow.
And now we have someone who have a good attitude, who's passionate, learning the trade or learning whatever area it is. And they're going to be a well-rounded person, someone who works well with the teammates. That's huge too, being able to work well with their coworkers, and someone who is driven and want to succeed within the area that they're pursuing.
Wow. Okay. Hey, y'all better be taking notes. These nuggets that she dropping for free right now. Okay. So speaking of next level, how did the diversity place come to play? What, break it down to us. How was it birthed? What is its purpose? You've got a great logo. Tell us the story about the diversity place.
The diversity place. So again, in my mind, as being a recruiter, having an experience, and knowing that there was a lack of, and not saying that there aren't community resources, right?
Okay.
There are community resources out there.
Yes.
But I felt that the resources were segmented. So if you're looking for candidates that are, African American, this particular resource may be good for you. If you're looking for women, this resource may be good for you. If you're looking for those who are within the LGBTQ community, this resource, veterans, very segmented. I didn't see anything out there that actually included everyone. You had to go to these different websites or different, organizations in order to pull candidates. So I figured, I had a vision. It would be nice to have one place that you can go to where you're guaranteed to know that you're actually going to be pulling some diverse, qualified candidates.
Wow.
So I remember when I first started talking about this, April of 2019.
Yes.
The tribe was on Marco Polo. I don't know if you remember.
I don't know.
We were on Marco Polo.
Okay. Yeah.
Conversing like we normally do. We were
Yes.
probably talking about something that happened the night before.
Right.
But anyway, we were just talking, and after we got done talking, I don't know, thoughts just kind of start going through my head on, is this something that I should pursue? Is this, what is needed out in the community? Because when you're thinking of entrepreneurship and things like that, maybe we were thinking about maybe we were talking about entrepreneurship.
Probably
I'm not
so.
quite sure.
I'm sure we were. Yeah.
But again, I want to pursue something that I'm passionate about.
Yes.
And something that I know is needed.
Yes.
And so I thought about it. And I remember getting back on Marco Polo And I had explained, y'all, what do y'all think about, XYZ? If, there's a online community where it's just a guaranteed spot where you can actually find diverse companies can go to and find diverse candidates and things like that. And I think at that time is when I actually thought about the diversity place, because I then envisioned that I wanted the website to resemble a place
Okay.
where companies can go to meet or connect with diverse candidates. And I remember us having that conversation. So this was pre-pandemic.
Right.
Pre-pandemic. And so it was in my head. Had a lot going on in my life at that time.
As we all do, the ebbs and flows.
Yeah, so I kind of put it on the back burner. And for our 40th birthday, the year that we turned 40, we went to Jamaica.
Had a wonderful time, y'all.
Baby, that's a whole other story.
Right, for
That's a
another
whole nother
episode.
segment.
We'll talk about that another time.
We'll have a girl talk.
We'll have a girl
episode.
talk episode.
It was amazing. But on the way back home, I had an Uber driver.
I do.
You remember that?
Share this story. This is good. This is good.
I had an Uber driver, and I don't know why. We just started talking and started connecting. And he started talking about why he was driving Uber, and he was talking about his job and things like that. And his motto was just do it. Faith over everything. Press forward. Do it.
Faith over everything. Remember
Faith
that.
over everything.
Remember that.
He said that he had crazy faith, is what he said. And then he asked me, what do I do? So I told him what I did, my 9 to 5. And then I told him that I had an idea of something that I wanted to pursue for entrepreneurship, And he said, well, what are you waiting on? I said, I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. I just want to wait until all of that is done, and then I'll press forward. He was like, why? He said, you have to have crazy faith. I mean, and when this drive with the Uber was probably like 15 minutes.
Wow.
And all of this took place within 15 minutes, and he was dropping all these different nuggets. And by the time I got out of that car, I said, Kiana, let's do it. Let's go ahead. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't soon after that, like within a week or so, I started identifying website developers and trying to put my vision on paper and figuring out what I wanted to see in 5 years and 10 years, within 1 year, what I wanted to see. And so I proceeded and got connected, with some folks, got my website together, and again, the mission, the vision, and all of that captured, my logo. And thank you so much for connecting me with the person who created my logo.
We can shout him out.
I had a specific vision for my logo. If you go to my website, www.thediversityplace.com, you'll notice that it says The Diversity Place, which I was very intentional with making sure diversity was in the name of the company. There's no sugarcoating. Diversity is needed.
Yes.
So The Diversity Place. And again, the place is because I wanted it to resemble a place, an online place. But if you look at my logo, the D in diversity, you'll notice different color dots.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Different color dots. And the reason for that, and the D kind of look like a table, if you will. So the different color dots basically signify diversity, right? People of color, again, women, LGBTQ community, military, all the above, right? And so basically I wanted the D to be like a table. There need to be more diversity at the table. When these companies are making decisions, there need to be more diversity. You need to have different perspectives in order to move the company forward. Because if you're not moving the company forward, it's declining. There's no stay steady. It's either you're moving forward or you're declining. In order to move your company forward, again, statistics show that diversity is necessary. You become more creative. It affects the bottom line. More inclusivity, in terms of, if you do have even if you have like a smaller diverse population, if they start not to if they don't see others that look like them, they may question, okay, where is my place in this? Representation matters.
It matters.
Representation matters. So, having mentors within the company, for those individuals, and not saying that the mentor have to look exactly like that person,
Right.
but it helps too,
does.
because they understand the journey too,
Right.
They can connect in that way. So the Diversity Place website, it have two parts to it. So there's the career seeker aspect, and then there's the employer aspect. The career seeker, I wanted to make sure that there were resources available to those within diverse communities, to make sure that they are competitive within the marketplace.
Absolutely.
There's a certain knowledge that need to be shared in terms of resumes,
Yes,
interviews,
yes,
career advice, different things like that, that's needed within our communities.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that we're able to equip those individuals, and then again, making them competitive within the job marketplace. And then the companies, they're able to come on and post jobs. They're able to access the resume database. Again, knowing that when they leave that website, they are leaving with connections with diverse people. We make sure that we keep the database diverse in all aspects. So that is the purpose of the Diversity Place.
Wonderful, wonderful. Representation.
It matters.
It matters. It matters. So definitely really excited about that, sis. So I would say, I think, of course, during COVID-19, a lot of people had a bunch of aha moments, right? A bunch of aha moments just across the board in terms of relationships, in terms of careers, in terms of things that they're passionate about. I often even came across a number of people that just talked about how they realized that they just were not satisfied anymore at their current place of employment, within their careers. They were either burnt out mentally, emotionally, physically, just drained. Or I even heard some people talk about how they realized they really didn't have a healthy balance of work-life balance. Their careers were just dedicated. They were dedicated to their careers, and they really didn't spend a bunch of time with their families. Their children were getting older, and they just realized that their priorities are beginning to change as a result of what happened with COVID-19, which could be a positive thing that happened out of COVID-19, realizing that my family is a huge priority. So I need to figure out how to create, a healthy work-life balance. And B, I need to figure out, what do I do next? So, did you find there was a lot of instances because of COVID-19 where people were doing a lot of career shifting? And if so, what did that look like, and how did that impact, just the work overall job market in the industry?
Yeah. So when COVID-19 happened, around April of 2020, unemployment skyrocketed. Unemployment skyrocketed. Eventually, it started coming back down, once the world started opening back up.
Yes.
But with so many people out of work, they had time to sit down and really reassess things and really think about, okay, I have time to think about if this is what I truly want to do. Again, passion comes into place here too.
Yes.
So is this still the career I want to continue to be in? Do I want to make any changes? And so people started reassessing, and there I think have been a lot of career changes that took place. And like what you mentioned, priorities change too.
Yes, they did.
Because if you're working a job and you typically have to work 50 hours per week, okay.
My God.
From a family standpoint, is this something that is really conducive to a family work-life balance?
Right.
So you have time to think about that and figure out, okay, what is my next step going to be?
Yes.
So absolutely, there were a lot of shifts when it came to careers. Individuals were able to really take a step back and pursue the type of career that they now envision. And again, things could change, right? You can start off your career young and you know that this is the area you want to go into. You hear a lot of people talk about their second career. Sometimes after a while, you want to move into something totally different. So now is a time to really start thinking about that and what that would look like. And now with individuals, with there being more remote work, people being able to work from home, that plays a huge part too. So now, not only are you just looking at opportunities within the immediate area, there are opportunities nationwide.
Wow.
Worldwide, but mainly nationwide that you can now consider because you're able to work from the comfort of your own home and still be able to produce and perform. So now that you have more options, it is definitely a candidate market right now. There are way more options available to candidates now than it has been in a long time. Probably around, when was that? It's been a while, at least 10 years.
Okay. Wow.
It's been a candidate market like it is right now.
Oh, so even before COVID-19.
Before COVID-19, it really wasn't a candidate market.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was an employers were able to pick and choose specifically who they wanted. They had an abundance of candidates.
Okay.
Okay. They had an abundance of candidates. Now there's not necessarily an abundance just because the opportunities are so widespread. So now there's not as many options to choose from. So again, if you're looking to switch careers, if you don't necessarily have a lot of experience in that particular area, a lot of companies are taking the chance with individuals who may not necessarily possess all this experience that they typically look for, just because it is a candidate market. Candidates have so many options to choose from. So now companies have to be a little bit more creative in their selection process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have to be a little bit more creative in order to, because if they're not identifying individuals who really have that specific experience that they typically look for, okay, well, what other type of experience can transfer well into this type of role?
Okay.
So, and that's important too. If you're looking to switch careers, it's important that your resume show how the experience that you currently do possess actually do transfer well into this other type of area. It's key to look at the job description and find those things that you are familiar with, that you have, even if it's not full-blown experience within these particular areas, if there's bits and pieces that you do have exposure to or did have experience with, making sure that you identify those within your resume so that when the company receives your resume, they're able to connect those dots, right? Because there have to be like some type of connection in order for you to get that call.
Okay.
So if you don't have that specific experience, at least showing how the experience that you do have transfer into this other type of role.
Okay.
Okay. But yes, right now it is definitely a candidate market. If you're thinking about switching careers, now is the time to do it.
Okay.
Now is the time to do it. And when you do identify a role, don't settle for the first offer.
Oh, good.
Negotiate. Don't settle for that first offer. Because companies are having to be a little bit more flexible also in terms of pay because candidates do have so many options. So wow. Now's the time. If you've been thinking about switching careers, if the career that you're in right now is not satisfying, if you're finding that your passion is going downward, start looking. Start thinking about that and get with a professional resume writer or do your research online, either way, to figure out how your resume can really speak to the recruiter when they're actually, looking through those candidates.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So what would you say if I'm a person that, I'm no longer passionate about what I'm doing. I'm wanting to switch careers, but I'm not certain what I want to do yet. Do you have any advice for those individuals that are kind of in the in between? Well, I like this and I like that, but I don't know if I need to go back to school or take a class, or would you recommend? What would you recommend? Step one be maybe.
Step one really need to be sitting down and reassessing where you are and where your passions lie. Reassessing, okay. In your last job, what were those specific things that you enjoyed doing?
Okay.
What were those things that you didn't enjoy doing? Maybe starting with that. If there are certain aspects of your last job that you did enjoy doing, maybe exploring other opportunities to have more of that. If you had a job where you didn't have a lot of interactions with the public, and maybe you want to be out in the community, but you never had an opportunity to do that. Now is the time to certainly, maybe look for an opportunity to have more of that. So I think first really sitting down and thinking about what you like, because there's nothing worse than pursuing something that you'll like for maybe a couple of months or so, but then it just kind of go downward. So making sure it is truly something that you want to do. So reassessing where you are now, what you enjoy learning about, no matter what it is. I mean, what is your hobby? How can you turn your hobby into, if you want to explore entrepreneurship, maybe that's something. Or if you're not necessarily interested in entrepreneurship, which is fine. Based upon your hobby, what are some jobs or careers that include that piece? If you enjoy shopping in your spare time, I mean, if you enjoy that, I mean, there are
or gaming or any of those things, that are out there. Like it's
all
so
of that.
things.
I mean, there's so many opportunities out there that weren't available to us 10 years ago. I mean, the world has changed quite a bit.
Yes.
And based upon what you enjoy learning about, that should help determine, what direction you should go into.
That's good.
And if you need professional help with assisting with kind of going through that type of exercise, I would definitely say to reach out to a professional to kind of help you think through and figure out, what direction you should take.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. So, as we're about almost getting ready to close, friend, I want to make sure that the audience is left with, 3 pieces of good advice. So you just talked about an entrepreneur and you yourself are going through that process. What's some advice that you would give to other entrepreneurs? They're getting started, they're trying to figure out, or they're stuck, in the middle and trying to figure things out. What's some advice that you would give to another entrepreneur? Whatever stage.
Keep in mind what made you initially want to go after this entrepreneurship journey that you had sought after. So if you know that that's the route that you want to take, and let's say that you're kind of, is this something I should do? Think about the end goal. About the end goal. Keep that in mind, and that should help you to continue pressing forward. Because a lot of time in entrepreneurship, we talk about rejection.
Yes.
In entrepreneurship, there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of pivoting that you have to do because, especially if this is your first time going after it, you don't have the secret sauce unless you know someone else who does exactly what you do, who started from the ground up. And they're able to share that, but a lot of us don't have that.
Yeah, we're the first in our family a lot of times. Yeah.
So you have to learn everything, and a lot of times as you're learning, as you're going, and it may not necessarily look the way that you thought it was going to look 3 months out,
right?
6 months out,
a year
out, 2 years out,
COVID, 3 years in.
Yeah. I mean, but you have to press forward. If this is something that you truly want to do, you have to keep that in mind. Think about, again, the vision that you had, once it's off the ground and successful, think about what that's going to look like and keep pressing forward. Especially if you currently have a regular 9-to-5.
Yes.
I know that could add a different layer to it.
Yeah.
And it could be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But you got to stay focused. Stay focused on that vision and keep pressing forward. keep positive people around you too.
That's good.
You know, I know people who may have thought about entrepreneurship, but they were talked out of it by family members, you know. So if you know that that's something that you want to pursue, and you know that there are individuals around you that may not necessarily be supportive, don't talk to them about your entrepreneurship journey. Don't talk to them.
Hey.
You may have just talk to friends. You know, if you have friends that are supportive, you know, you may have to talk to them before you talk to family members. And again, just keep that positivity around you, and just keep grinding. Don't give up. Remember the vision.
That's it. Don't give up and remember the vision.
Remember the vision.
I like that.
Yes.
So one last piece of advice. I know we talked about the career transition and you gave advice about that part. So what would you say to someone, okay, entrepreneurship is not for me, but you know, I'm in whatever industry, whether that's, you know, corporate or whatever, healthcare or entertainment, whatever industry, or politics, community, whatever. What would you suggest? What would be your advice for someone that is steady trying to climb the ladder, if you would say? What kind of advice would you give to those individuals?
That's good. Have a development plan. If you know that there's a particular role that you envision yourself in the future, and again, it may not happen overnight. You have to have a plan. Being in contact. I know the networking opportunities are not as much right now, just due to COVID.
Right.
But if there's someone within your organization that actually is at the level that you aspire to be, reach out to them. You know, a lot of times people may be afraid to reach out. But I'm here to tell you, a lot of times those individuals will be honored to have that type of conversation with you. I mean, because for one, they're thinking, okay, if they're reaching out to me about this, that means that they look up to what I've accomplished.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's really, it's a compliment. It really is a compliment. So reaching out to those individuals and just having sidebar conversations, you know, scheduling time with them and getting their perspective on how they got to where they got to. Yeah. Okay. And just kind of receiving those nuggets from them as well, and incorporating that into your own journey. So again, having the right connections, doing your own research. You know, in this day and age, you can find anything.
Oh my God,
online.
Anything.
You can find anything online. If you know that there's a particular area that you want to go into, there could be certain trends out there that you can read about to help prepare you for where this type of position would be a year out from now, 2 years out from now, and you won't be behind the ball.
That's good.
You'll already have that type of knowledge to bring to the table. You know, there are a lot of companies are learning about advocacy. And when I say advocacy within the company, you know, if there's someone that's actually sitting at the table and let's say there's some discussions going on about up and comers, you know, within the organization, there are leaders who will advocate for those who have stuck their neck out and have expressed interest, you know, in certain type of projects, a certain type of thing. So that's another thing, being involved in different projects so that you can be seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes people think of, you know, corporate, you know, it could be like a corporate game, you know, and trying to climb the ladder and things like that. Okay. Learn the game and use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Get there. You can get there. Use your resources. Be seen, be heard, bring forth ideas, prepare for meetings. You know, if you know you're going to be a part of a meeting where there's going to be a lot of good conversation relating to a particular area, do your research beforehand and make sure that you come with at least 1 or 2 points that you want to share within that meening.
That's good.
You know, be valuable within that meeting. So with that, again, you know, just kind of learning, the corporate ladder within that particular organization, because it could vary from organization to organization. Being in contact with someone who is within the role that you perhaps aspire to be, or somewhat similar to what you aspire to be, get their perspectives on it, and just continue to learn. Continue. Don't be stagnant. Continue to learn. And you may have to learn just on your own personal time. Do it. It's an investment because ultimately you will get there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much. So everybody, Kiana actually has, she'll be running a contest for the diversity place that you all can participate in. And it's free, free. You heard me.
Yes.
So I'll let her explain that.
Okay.
The two contests that she's running.
2 contests. So, if you recall, I talked about the diversity place and how it caters to 2 groups. It caters to the career seeker and it caters to the employer. So I do want to offer my services. So basically on the employer side, the first person to email me at Keona, Keona.Phillips, and that's with 2 L's, at thediversityplace.com. The first person to email me with the subject title of KPP or Kick, Push, Pull, either one. The first person to send me an email will receive 2 free 30-day job postings on the website. Again, 2 30-day free job postings. Email me. On the career seeker side, the first person to email me, and also I guess on the employer side, somewhere within the email, indicate employer, that you want to be considered for the employer contest. Okay. For the career seeker, again, the first person to send me an email with the subject line Kick, Push, Pull or KPP, and indicate somewhere within the email, career seeker, the first person will receive a 1-hour free consultation session with me. And we can talk about anything career related. We can talk about resumes. We can talk about interviews. We can talk about career advice. You know, if you're changing careers, we can kind of dig deeper in your particular situation and kind of talk through how to navigate through. So whatever you want to talk about career related, we can talk about. We can certainly talk about, coming from, of course, being a minority, a person of color, and trying to climb the ladder.
Yes.
We can talk about, the certain type of obstacles that may be presented to you and how to navigate that as well.
Yes.
Because there are definitely obstacles. We're getting better.
Yes, we are.
We're not there yet. From
No.
a company standpoint, a lot of companies recognize the obstacles and doing something about it. Some companies are not. So it just really depends on the company that you work for. But ultimately, the goal is you being able to press forward, getting the experience that you need. If you need to get the experience from a certain company and then move over to another company who would appreciate those experiences being brought to the table, sometimes the conversation is that as well. So I will keep it 100, during the conversation. And these are things I love talking about.
Yes, absolutely. And again, free. You can't beat that. Oh my God. So Kiana, thank you again for being here.
Thank
Just
you.
appreciate your knowledge, your area of expertise. Thank you for sharing your journey, all about the diversity place. Thank you for all the nuggets of wisdom that you shared with us here today for free again.
Yes.
And even running this contest. I appreciate you, your family, your tribe, your sisters, your brothers, the community. And we're going to make sure that the diversity place gives all the other places a run for their money. And they're going to be number 1. Okay. And we're going to celebrate you being number 1.
Yes.
So thank you again, sis.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here. I loved it. The time went by too quick because we can talk for hours and hours.
Oh God, y'all know us like
yes, hours and hours.
hours and hours. Okay.
But we did good.
I think we did good. Too.
Okay. No, but thank you again. It was a
appreciate you.
pleasure being here. I love what you're doing. This is going to be a game changer. Once these episodes go out and the type of content that she have lined up for everyone, it's going to be a game changer. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm
you.
very, very excited.
Same for you. Look, we'll start crying in a minute. Let me close this out, okay? Closing. So don't forget to breathe. and know that you are God's greatest creation. Now go out and fulfill your purpose unapologetically, because someone is waiting on you. I hope that you experience God's love, His joy, and His peace. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and always remember to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Peace, my friends, until we meet again. Thank you for tuning in to the KPP Transformational Life podcast. I'll see you in 2 weeks.